2015-3 regarding the removal of sewer fees from the property tax bill.
I looked at the resolution, I just had one other thing in there I noticed. I guess that's been taken out, is that right?
We have too many meetings.
Yeah, it says be it resolved, it says describe the billing method used by the prior to that. I would just take out the word, the bracket and the word describe, because then we'll say in accordance with the billing method used by the district prior to the passage of 2014. Take out the other bracket. So, do you see that?
That's saying much of the confusion of the water bill, and I think this is pretty apropos on understanding why it was placed on the tax roll to begin with, to understand the action proposed today. There was a lot of confusion that the water bill in the RCSD was made up of water and sewer fees, and continually compared to being too high in comparison to the fees that were being charged in other areas like Lancaster, Quartzville, or elsewhere. Unknown to a lot of people that some of those entities already had their sewer bill on their tax roll, and it wasn't being considered when the comparison was being made. So it's important to maintain the district's funding goals and maintain the sewer fees on the tax roll. This method accomplishes the following. It provides sufficient funds to accommodate a major system failure or an abrupt change in operating expense, such as a spike in the cost of energy, imported water, and it protects the ratepayer from an immediate rate change to accommodate such events. Southern California Edison requested of the California Public Utilities Commission a 16% rate increase, and they received a 13% across-the-board rate increase in 2013. Due to the adjudication, the RCSD will lose 79% of their current pumping capacity. Today, we can produce an acre-foot of water, which is 325,852 gallons of water, for about $90 a day. And today, the dry year water costs, if we have to purchase it, anywhere from $800 to $1,000 an acre-foot. We will have to purchase water rights to purchase water from the Antelope Valley East Current Water Agency, which will drive up the cost of water dramatically. This increase in water costs to the district will directly impact the operating reserve and the wastewater fund also. It slows the need to increase rates sooner than necessary. And the situation before us. The water and sewer rate study prepared in 2009 addressed 3 areas developing the rates: operating reserves goal, rate stabilization reserve goal, and the capital replacement reserve goal. These reserves are necessary to ensure our ability to respond to an emergency and an unforeseen need to adjust due to an abrupt change in costs, as stated above. When developing these areas, the revenue that was anticipated to be generated did not adequately take into consideration the severe vacancies, delinquencies, the downturn in the economy would create. However, we have been able to recover a high percentage of delinquencies. It is now necessary to get a handle on the vacancies as well. We lost approximately $154,766 in 2011. In 2012, $161,928,000. And these are 2012-13 rate year. And in the 2013-14 rate year, we lost $138,026 and change. This total came up to about $454,000 and was approximately an average of $151,000 annually. Now, the reason for that was the board was given 3 options. They could do nothing and not address the lost revenue that was anticipated when the rate study was generated. And that was not an option the board wished to take. They could make up the lost revenue by increasing the sewer rate on those that were paying. that again was not an option of the board at the time. So the third option was to move the sewer fee that was being collected monthly on the water bill to the tax roll at no fee increase to any member in the community. That was the most logical reason to move that to the tax roll. In doing so, some people had experienced the ability to then write on their taxes, on their property tax, when they did their tax returns, and receive a credit for it. And the credits that were generated from that were anywhere from 10 to 14%. So in the board's desire to capture all the revenue necessary to operate the system based on a professional's report, an engineer's report, they took the least intrusive method and changed only the method of collection and did not increase the amount of the sewer fee. From that, I think it's important to maintain the district funding goals. They were set up for very specific reasons. We set minimum goals in operating reserves of 25% in funds so that we wouldn't have spikes and downturns and issues that we're experiencing today. The fiscal impact, a potential decrease in revenues of approximately $136,000 to $151,000 annually. The $136,000 is a conservative figure of 90% collection that we would have made when our true figures for collecting delinquencies on the tax roll with the county is actually 99%. Or we could lose the entire annual equivalent average. It's going to take another additional approximately 50,000 to 30,000, 30 to 50,000 to turn this back. And it cost approximately 100,000 to put it in place. There's a lot of time and effort that was put into getting every parcel that needed to go on the tax roll, and it took a lot of staff time to ensure that that was done correctly. The recommendation, it's recommended that the Board of Directors of the Rosamond Community Service District approve a sewer rate study prior to the removal of the sewer fees from the tax roll. Direct the sewer rate study to be completed prior to April 2016. Direct the General Manager to determine the cost of the sewer rate study and to include the cost in the 2015-16 annual budget. The recommendation is we need to know where we're at before we make a move like that unilaterally to determine if we can handle the cost before we make such a move.
So there's nobody using this system, so there should be no charge to them.
Wrong.
Why?
Because it is not a collection system, it's a delivery, or it is a collection system, not a delivery system. We have to maintain that. Our cost to maintain the system, not only the sewer lines and the cleaning and the maintenance of those, but the wastewater treatment plant that is in constant operation. If we don't have that revenue coming in, then there's still a cost to that. And when somebody comes to utilize that service in that house, say, it has to be ready to go for them. So it is an ongoing expense to the district, commonly referred to as a fixed cost. And because that was all calculated in developing the rate. If that revenue wasn't necessary, then they would have calculated or estimated a certain amount of loss, and that rate would have gone higher. So capturing the anticipated revenue is why.
Electric lines going to it, has gas going to it, and if the people are not using the gas, the phone, or the electricity, there is no charge, and yet the electric company has to maintain all of their lines, the gas company has to maintain all of their lines, but they're not relying on the public who are not using it to pay for it.
Those that you mentioned don't have a property right either, and they are all delivery systems. They're not collection systems.
They don't pay for
A
water.
sewer system is a collection system and a property.
What are you collecting? What are you collecting if nobody's flushing?
Well, you're not collecting anything.
You've got a connection that the person who developed the house paid for. The district didn't pay for the connection to that house. The developer or the builder did. So far, to hook it all up has cost the district nothing. Now, when somebody, yes, I need water, sewer, boom, they're paying the bill, it's being paid for. We're providing services, it's them. Somebody moves out of that house, we're no longer providing a service to anybody who lives there, but you're saying we should still collect money for providing a connection,
Well, let's just,
even though it's not being used.
let me illustrate it like this, and this is gonna be a little bit offline, but hopefully it'll be a better illustration. If you were to take 75% of the people in the community out of the homes, how are you gonna possibly operate your wastewater treatment plant and your sewer system without the revenue coming in?
In that manner, it is a risk in any sewer development, community. If everybody in a community leaves.
That's why all of
you
them
have it.
charge for that.
But we gotta remember one thing. Why are we here? Why are you here? We're here to serve the people.
We need to clarify one thing, everybody doesn't charge for it. Tehachapi doesn't charge, Mojave doesn't charge.
Most don't. In fact, it's illegal to do it.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
So let's not say everybody
Under
charges.
Prop 218, it is illegal.
That's not correct.
But I have a question real quickly. One of the budget items, Mr. Wagner was complaining earlier about not having the money to work with. If I recall correctly, our August 27th budget budgeted a revenue of income coming into the district of $7 million, and expenditures of $5 million, with $2 million, almost $2 million in surplus. Is that correct?
Without it in front of me, I can't speak directly to those numbers, but the surplus was closer to 900,000, not 2 million.
Okay, 900,000 plus we put another $1 million in reserve in the checking account. But the point is, we have $1.9 million.
No, there wasn't a reserve. There wasn't a transfer of reserve.
It went from
No, there wasn't.
0 to 900,000 and one, and went the reserves we added.
It's a surplus. It's not. It's a revenue and expenditure surplus. It's not a cash surplus.
That's one thing. So we actually have at least $1 million or $900,000 we're adding. Second, in the past, if you don't pay your sewer bill, it goes on your property tax, correct?
That's how we collect, yes.
Okay. And our collection ability at that point in time was 99%. So nothing changes. Third, the very fact you're asking for a sewer rate study implies that a Prop 218 should have been done before the vote on March 26, 2014, to put these on property tax bills.
Prop 218 only requires you to do that if you're increasing the rate. There was no rate increase. It was a change, and we have a legal opinion by our counsel that specified that it did not need to go through a 218 because you were not increasing the rate, you were only changing the method of collection. And provided that the original rate was done pursuant to a Prop 18 hearing, which it was.
Okay, who will find that?
Fine from Scott Cooney, Young Ward.
Okay, that was done way back the year before the vote. Huh? But the bottom line is, where Mr. Woods works, where most every place works, if you're going to have the sewer bills on the property tax, you have to provide a mechanism for someone to come in and say, look, turn the water off, I'm not going to be living there, I'm going to be gone for the winter, whatever. And they are not responsible for those 3 months, and there's a mechanism for to say I want a refund of those 3 months. That's not in our ordinance, never has ever been, which indicates that it's a tax. It's an increase of fees on the people. It's an impermissible tax, and to that extent, it was wrong from the get-go. It doesn't really matter. It's a moot point if we indeed vote to take it off the rolls.
address that one comment that you made. There is a mechanism in place. I don't know if LA County does it or not, but it can be done. Is that when a house is vacated, the agency can go in and put a plug in the lateral line and charge a fee for it. And then when the new person comes in, they can pay a fee to have the plug pulled out to make the sewer serviceable. That's another option for recovering the money. But before you tonight is Resolution 2015-3 to remove the sewer fee from the property tax and put it back on the monthly water bills, which is again a campaign promise made by you, 3 new directors. And again, I want to talk about the facts and not speculation. A little about me is I know a little bit about sewers and water reclamation and sewage treatment. I've been involved in the field for close to 36 years now. And I know the benefits of a healthy sewer system and the benefits of an unhealthy sewer system. Fact 1, when the rate study was completed in 2009, setting the current sewer rate, it was based upon all dwellings hooked up to the system paying the rate 12 months a year. With the sewer rates placed on the monthly water bill, that sewer rate will only be paid as long as that dwelling is getting a monthly water bill. If that dwelling or rental unit is vacant any time during the year, then the sewer rates are reduced for every month that this occurs. Empty dwellings or rental units are costing the RCSD approximately $150,000 in lost revenue every year. By having the sewer fees on the property tax, it ensures that the RCSD will collect all the revenue necessary to maintain, upgrade, expand, and replace the sewer system. Connection fees, as Director Shingledecker pointed out, yes, those are paid up front by the developer, and it's also passed on to the cost of the person buying the house. But those connection fees only pay for the infrastructure, new infrastructure to be built, and new homes to be added to the system. That connection fee does not pay for any maintenance or upgrades or repairs of the system once it's online. If you go back to having the sewer fee placed on the water bill, then you will start losing at least $150,000 every year, causing you over time to raise the sewer rates on the rest of us who pay every month, to subsidize those who enjoy the income of rental units but will no longer have the responsibility to pay when their rental unit sits empty. A sewer system is different from water, gas, or electric service. All of these other services deliver a product to your home that you consume and you pay for the amount that you use. And the cost of the product you consume has built into the price the cost of maintenance, upgrades, replacements, etc. But a sewer system is different. It does not deliver a product to your home. It is a receiving system that is in use 24/7. And even though your dwelling unit or dwelling might not use the system for a prolonged period of time due to hospitalization, vacation, or being vacant, the base cost is not for how much you use the system, but rather for having access to the system whenever you need it. And this system has to be maintained, cleaned, upgraded, and expanded. And it cannot do this losing $150,000 each year without putting it on the backs of those who have a water bill 12 months a year. Again, this action tonight will be another subsidizing those who have rental units by having us pay for their share and then paying higher sewer fees to continue subsidizing the landlords. One other thing, as a homeowner, my impound account has already gone up. I'm paying a higher house payment now because it was put on my property tax. And if you sit there and put this on the sewer fee, on the water bill again, you're going to be making me and all the other homeowners in this community that have impound accounts and have it added to their monthly house payment to pay twice. Because now I'm going to be paying $40 a month on my water bill, and I'm paying $40 a month on my tax bill and on my impound account. Now, yes, it will be adjusted, but I'm going to have to wait till next year for that to happen. And that's not fair.
that in 2009, when they came up with the 218 hearings, that it was based on everybody paying into the system. Not true. The fact is, at the time, in 2009, we knew we had vacancies. We knew we had people on vacation or in the hospital or otherwise on vacation. The point is, during that time, we didn't receive revenue from those houses, and we knew we weren't going to receive revenues from those houses. When the RCSD voted to raise the rates to the current rate, they voted with that vacancy factor in mind. So to take the vacancy factor out of that, by the vote of 5 years later, is in fact a tax increase.
I guess would be, on the resolution, it's just talking about taking it off the bill, but not necessarily addressing people not being charged for it. Is that correct?
I don't understand your question.
Well, it says here it's regarding removal of the sewer fees from the property bill. You're not deciding whether or not,
No, they're still gonna be charged.
Yeah,
so everybody gets charged on the sewer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, on the
Okay.
water bill.
Okay, just because of my past experience, of course not like him, but as being a bookkeeper and all
Yeah,
that.
they still get paid.
And as a homeowner, and I do have a rental property, just one, but it's a rental property. When sewer bills are on the tax bill, it's a big benefit to a homeowner because you have it on your taxes, you get to claim the whole tax bill. It's not based on breaking it down by schools or water or sewer or sanitation, because I have sanitation on my own as well. I get to write the whole thing off. As a homeowner of a rental, I get to write off my sewer, whether it's on a tax bill or not, because it's an expense. But as a consumer, just being a regular homeowner, if that sewer is not on my tax bill, I do not get to write it off, just like I don't get to write off my water. So in this community, it's a huge benefit, not to mention that it's coming out in your impound accounts, if that sewer is on your tax bill, because you get to write it off. But as most people in this community are just straight homeowners, once that comes off their tax bill, they do not get to take it off their taxes anymore. It's,
That can afford the sewer bill monthly.
why is it different though? I don't get
They
it.
get out of money. It's been suggested that they get a set of 12 envelopes, and every month put the $40 in each envelope as it goes by.
No, I don't know the difference. I don't
No,
know why you're bringing
that's
that
what
up.
I'm saying to you,
Okay.
okay? So, 6 months down the road, the washing machine goes out, the television goes out, and they say, hey, I don't have any money to replace the washing machine, I don't have any money to replace the TV. Well, we got this money sitting over here in the envelopes, let's pay it. Now it comes tax time, and they don't have the money to pay the tax, and they lose their house.
Well, unfortunately, Mr. President, there's, come on guys, hold on. There's the poor, the indigent. My husband works with them every day, coming in and just pleading. If you can give me $30 for my bill, I can pay my electric. I mean, Grace is handing out money for people just to survive and pay rent and utilities. It happens every single day. I'm just saying that the poor will always be with us. The elderly will always be with us. A lot of the elderly we help are living in assisted houses or low-income rentals. So their rent is including their utilities. I'm just saying, on the average, the people that are paying the taxes in this community would benefit from this staying on their tax bills so that they can get a break on their taxes, their income taxes is all. You know, there's going to be ifs, ands, or whats all through life. We can't predict them all, and we can't ignore them all, of course. I'm just saying, as a business owner or a person with a lot of rental properties, my brother-in-law has a lot of rental properties in Lancaster. There's the up, there's the down, there's all kinds of stuff going on, but he gets to write that off as an expense. If it wasn't on my tax bill, I'd be out of pocket, it's no tax benefit. That's all. I'm just saying that you would benefit the greater overall by allowing it to stay on the sewer bill.
I'm sorry, say again?
When they put the sewer on your tax bill, it hurts your property value.
Hurts my property value.
Yeah, because it makes it look like your taxes are higher.
Well, yeah, what it does is, it can hurt the value because somebody that wants to qualify to buy the house, let's say they're making, just for round numbers, they're making $50,000 a year household income, and let's say that qualifies them for a $103,000 loan. But that would be because that would be normally. But if this stays on the taxes, now that has to be factored in by the lender as they're on their debt to income ratio. Now they're only going to qualify, I'm sorry, I got that reversed. They would qualify for a $119,000 home. Now they're only going to qualify for a $103,000 home. So they can only, they're going to basically qualify for about $15,000 to $16,000 less of a home because of that $477 or whatever it is that's on the tax bill. Lenders won't factor it in when it's on a water bill, but they will factor it in.
Where's this information
Yeah, why is it so not?
Loan calculators. Go to Google, type in loan calculator, and type in some numbers. You'll figure that out. Put in $50,000, what that'll qualify you as a loan, for a loan, and then put in $49,500, see what that gets you. It'll get you $16,000 less of a home.
Okay.
That's how I got it.
That's so difficult?
Oh, I can't ask a question right now?
Sure.
Fine, go ahead, you said it's okay.
Well, so it's $40 a month for your sewer in Rosamond?
I believe so.
So for $500 a month, it keeps
A
you
year?
from qualifying, $500 a year, it keeps you from qualifying for an additional $16,000 on a house loan?
Yes.
That's not true.
Break out a loan calculator.
Do not take my picture.
I'll Google it right now.
Joyce, do not take my picture.
All right, well, thank you
You have
very
no
much.
permission to take my picture. What I'm saying to you, sir, is that for $500 a year, if you can't afford $500 in taxes a year, you probably can't qualify to buy a house at all anyway.
Silver Ridge. I have been in this community for 23 years, and I have been coming to the board meetings, which means that a lot of you that have a lot to say tonight and previous was not coming to the board meetings. You now come, and it sounds like it's so disrespectful for people to be sticking up their fingers. We are adults, and we should, in a meeting, agree to disagree. And when you agree to disagree, it should be with respect. Now, with me, when I've been up here and I've talked to Steve, I didn't like the property, the sewage going on my bill. No need of me lying. I did not like it. I have sense enough to know the math is the same, but I did not like it. I like paying it per month. It's easier for me as a senior citizen. It is easier. And I did 45 years on one job. So I'm just saying, these people, they represent the community. A lot of you out here are cheerleaders. It's just like you're at a basketball game or something. I'm saying that because someone said to me, we are here in support of certain people. Shouldn't be here in support of one individual or two individuals. You should be here in support of what is better for this community, for no other reason. What is better for you might not be better for me. So, I'm just saying, what Steve put down here on this letter when he did his recommendation, within the present billing structure to bill property owners for the sewage fee for the ones that they have lost. I suggested when you were not here that the people, when you have rental property, you are unable to collect sewage money. Am I correct? But then when you rent the property, prior to turning the water on, collect the back sewage taxes. And that way, they will have caught up, they will have, and it won't be a loss in revenue. Am I correct? If you did it that way. But I was told that it could not be done that way. But for those that want it on there, that's great. I'm speaking for me, one, Never Lewis. I did not like it. I still don't like it.
Hey, gentlemen. Glenn Vincent's my name. I'm a resident here in Rosamond for 25 years, and I would guess some of you gentlemen on the board, maybe you and your families have been here far longer than I have, and I'm about that. About a year ago, it was in March, we had this meeting about discussion about putting the sewer on the property taxes. I came up here and expressed my opposition for that to happen. For the record, then and now, I will say again, I know it's not an easy decision to make, and there's difficulties to be made, money making, and I can only speak for myself as a resident here. Just like this lady before me, it's easy for me to pay it by a month, sitting on my property taxes. I was lucky towards the end of last year, I was able to pay off my mortgage. So when the county tax bill came in, boom, now I had to pay the taxes on my own, so on my impound accounts, which was formerly done before in the past. But when the sewer was put on my property tax, it jacked up my rates. I believe it was $4.77 or something like that. And then with the lighting in my district, that was additional 40 something, I'm not exactly sure. So it jacked everything up over maybe $5.10, $5.20, something like that for me. For me, that was a big chunk of money for me personally. And I would prefer, and again, I know this is not an easy decision for you, Mr. Perez, or Walfred, to make, trying to find some ways to generate revenue, but for me personally, as a resident here of this community and also a customer of the Rosamond Community Service District, I would prefer that it would be not on the tax bill. I would rather for me pay my monthly, was it $40, what I was doing in the past. So that's just my opinion. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm here actually speaking for my mom. She's senior, elderly. Even though she's doing good, she didn't get around so good, but she's living on retirement income. Since my dad passed away, she's been on limited income. And I know that just wanted to state that the annual charge of the sewer fees to her is catastrophic, because she is on limited income on a monthly basis. Even though she's not paying it on a monthly basis, that's how her mind thinks. Being elderly, she just can't reason long-term or big amounts, big charges all at once. But she does relate to monthly payments much easier, and she understands that, she recognizes it, and it's easy for her to manage on a monthly basis, just from a mental perspective, being elderly. So.
I live in the city of Lancaster, and my sewer bill is on my tax bill, and I pay well over $600 a year, and the county does not discount me if my house is vacant. The only thing that they do discount is if my house is vacant and I can show proof with my water bill that I have had no consumption, they will adjust the HCF, which is what goes into the sewer and the street. But I just want to clarify that, because I share that with over 150,000 residents.
Make the adjust.
I've already had to adjust my impound account, $465. Okay, so it's already on there, and it's the same amount of money. So just leave it on there, that way you guaranteed your money, and you got your money, and you don't have to try to run somebody down and try to get the money. It's already on the account, it's already on there, you get your money, that's fine. Because I don't see a difference between paying $40 a month and $460 a year, still the same amount of money. You know, and I think that should be on there, and you should have trash on there and everything else. Put it on the taxes.
I wanted to point out one thing on this. Yes, putting it on the tax bill affects those on a fixed income that are homeowners. But if you flop it back to a monthly charge, unless every homeowner that rents in Rosamond drops their rent by $40 a month, the renters are going to now have their monthly expenditures increased by $40 a month. So what you're going to have happen is you're going to affect the fixed income renters instead of the fixed income homeowners. So you're going to have the same problem that you're talking about now, people on fixed incomes. It's going to happen either way. Just something to think about.
RCSD has in place that us as homeowners are ultimately responsible for the bill. And I have paid many renters who have skipped out. I've probably paid about $2,000 to $3,000 in unpaid water bills from renters. They have systems in place now that we are ultimately responsible. Every application I sign and take responsibility. So if they do not pay it, it gets paid by me or other homeowners.
On here, staff is experienced in the office and in the field. They told me today a drop in door hangers, shut-offs, payment extensions, and payment arrangements. And what that means is people now, and even the counter girls had said, that people come in now that weren't paying their water bill are now coming in and paying that water bill. And they have said it's been a marked improvement. I think the shut-off notices, door hangers had dropped 75%. And because people are now coming in and paying their water. Because it's not the water plus the additional $40.
Now, currently, you want me to move the sewer fees back to the water bill, where everyone can pay $39.80 per month, additional to their water bill. Why would you do that? Does anyone on this board know why we did that? We were losing over $150,000 a year in sewer revenue. How are you going to make up the lost revenue? If this is an example of the robbing Peter to pay Paul game used in the lighting issue, then I'm not shocked that it isn't going to work any better with sewer fees than it did with the lighting fees. We refer to this as a shell game in a law enforcement circle. Does this mean you'll raise the rates on those who are paying their fees? Does it mean you'll raise the sewer rate to make up the lost revenue? Will this be done and will add further confusion to the ratepayers? And I know what that means to your staff in the office. Now those I have spoken to have written the sewer fee costs off of their taxes, which give them an approximate 10 to 14% write-off on their sewer fee. This would mean a $47.76 to $66.86 per year break on their annual sewer fees, which equates to a sewer rate of $34.23 per month, equivalent at 14%, $34.21, with a price per month set in October of 2011. So you're going to raise the rate for every person in Rosamond who itemizes their taxes and writes off their property tax on their itemization sheet. Don't tell me that fixed income people are paying more because they aren't. They're just paying it twice a year instead of 12 times a year. In fact, most people in Rosamond have a mortgage, and on that mortgage, they have an impound account, which means that they will pay the fee every month as part of their house payment. Folks can pay their payment in an envelope and make their 2 payments each year by saving the money. What you're really talking about here is a minor inconvenience, and it should be changed to accommodate the few and impact the many financially. The real issue is who has to pay for sewer service when the renters and leasers move out. How many rental properties and lease properties cover your family and friends you made campaign promises to? Does anyone see a common theme here? Seems Mr. Landsgaard is pushing to have all of the issues brought forward as soon as he can. Why? Because paying your fair share costs money when you have made decisions to own a lot of property. Just saying.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Call for the question.
Are we gonna have any discussion up here? I haven't said a thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I think everyone understands that the cost is exactly the same. It's how it's collected and who it's collected from. Before I explain to you why I'm gonna vote no, I'm gonna explain to you why I'm gonna vote no before I vote, so that you understand why I'm voting no. I have one rental property in Rosamond. And 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, when we were discussing this, I was convinced that sewer fee is part